I think one of the main things that's helped me is to let God carry the burden. You know, the hurts that come. You know, basically, I felt like way back in the beginning when I first started pastoring the church and I was feeling hurt, you know, somebody leave the church or somebody say something about me or about the ministry or whatever, and you know, you start to internalize that, and then you can start to get bitter, and I just felt like the Lord said, let me carry that for you. You know, those things that they're putting on you, I'll carry them on my shoulders. And so I can't say I do it perfectly. I don't think anybody does it perfectly, but I try really hard to not, you know, carry those things that I'm not supposed to carry. And, you know, somebody said the definition of stress is carrying things and taking responsibilities for things you're not supposed to. And so all those things that I feel like, you know, could be perceived as attacks toward me or toward the ministry or sometimes toward your family or whatever, that's probably the hardest thing. I said, you know, the Lord just said, I'll carry those for you. And so that's helped.
Now, you've been in the same church for 28 years? Same church, or is 28 years in different
church? Same church.
So, same church. So
we started the church.
So you guys pioneered the church. So how do you break away from monotony?
How do you break away from monotony?
I mean, think about it. You're preaching to the same congregation for 28 years. They know all your jokes. They know all your best one-liners. They're familiar with, they know you. They know your mannerism. You know how it is. You have an evangelist come in that preach the best sermon. Yeah. They put all of it together all in one shot, and they go, "Oh, what an amazing sermon!" But you added, that's 1,000 sermons just for the first 20 years, and now you're getting ready to do your next 20.
That's a really good question, and the thing about they do know all my one-liners. They've probably heard some of my stories and some of my illustrations 100 times and all that, but they seem to be forgiving about that. I try to come up with some new ones from time to time, but I really feel like God has called me to this community. I think it's Isaiah 62 that talks about being married to the land. Your sons are married to the land, and I really feel like when we came to, we're between Buffalo and Rochester, New York, in a very rural area, Orleans County, and we really felt like God planted us there, and that this is where we are. Not only do I love the church, obviously I have my days when I'm upset or whatever, but I really love the community, and I really love being where I am. Don't have a strong desire. I don't consider myself a church planter, going around planting church after church. I probably would never want to do it again. And I say that kind of facetiously, but I don't know if I got that in me, to go start again and again and again. So I really love the place where I'm at. I love that community, and I just want to be there. I haven't done it yet, but I heard a pastor once talking about buying his burial plot in the community that he's in, buying his grave site as a way to say, I'm here. And while I haven't done that officially, that's kind of my commitment. Lord, I'll be here until the day you have a different plan for me or the day you call me home. And so that, there's days where you get maybe tired of doing the same thing over and over again, but that's more rare that's more the exception than the rule.
Wow, so I'm here with Pastor Tim, and if you're hearing the beep, beep, beep in the background, we're literally in Israel right now, and we had an opportunity to be together in an Israel trip, and I asked Pastor Tim if he could share with us about his book, 1,000 Sundays, and he's past that, well past that. That was 20 years, and now he's done 27 years. He's broken the bell curve. You're like all the way to the right. Ironically, I've done 25. I'm getting ready to do 26 in the church that I helped pioneer over there in the Bronx, and it just seems so quickly. Let me ask you, what would you have done differently? So if you had a chance to start all over again, there's not too many people that we could ask this question because most pastors, again, don't last a long time in one particular place. What would you have done differently?
Wow. I'm going to have to give that one a little bit of thought. I think that I would like to have maybe done a better job at raising up leaders. I mean, we have some good leaders, some strong leaders, but and you hear that, you know, in the early days of ministry, you know, the importance of investing in those that can really carry the burden of ministry, if you will, and such. And you know that, and you feel like you're kind of doing it, but, you know, looking back, I wish I had invested more, and certainly I've still got time to do that and think about that even now. It's not like it's an opportunity that's passed, but I think I would probably really emphasize that. As much as I knew it in my head, maybe it just didn't sink down in my heart, to really invest in people that really had the vision, who really wanted to grow with the church, who really wanted to, you know, step into leadership and such, and really give more time to them.
Pastor Tim, let me just ask you just one more question. In those 27 years, you didn't do it alone. You had your wife standing alongside with you. What would you say is the secret of maintaining an awesome marriage during those 27 years? Longevity, breaking that 1,000 Sunday mark.
You know, my wife is not the typical pastor's wife, in the sense, you know, she doesn't play the piano, you know, and things like that. But she has been a great wife. She's raised our 5 kids, homeschooled, and really understood that her ministry, first and foremost, was to her family. And so she's, you know, been 100% committed to me and to what God has called us to do, and to our kids. And so I think that, you know, that's really helped, you know, kind of understanding our roles. And, you know, I didn't want to try to force her into fitting into a certain mold. You know, you're a pastor's wife, you need to do this, this, and that. And she found her place primarily in her family. I mean, she's very involved in the church, obviously, but in the lives of people in the church. But she really knew. And I remember one time we were doing premarital counseling with a couple that we were, you know, a couple that I was marrying, going to do their ceremony in a couple of months, and we were meeting together in our home. And she said, and she had never said this to me, but she said it to them, and it really kind of, I was like, wow. She said, I see my ministry as keeping our home strong.
Wow.
And keeping it a place, a safe place to come to, you know, for me to come home. And she said, my ministry is to support my husband, to support Tim and what God's called him to do. And, you know, together, obviously, we're doing it. But so it was really, yeah, that's helped. And we take time. We have fun together and do a lot of things just to kind of get away and such like that. But I think that first thing I said is the main thing.
Well, thank you, Pastor Tim, and I want to encourage everybody to get the book, 1,000 Sunday by Pastor Tim Lindsay. I mean, this is a book that I think every pastor should get, Pastor Tim, because, you know, God is even more interested, I believe, in not how we start, but how we finish. And Billy Graham said it so well. He wrote a book even about finishing well, you know. And so even basic scriptures such as he who endures to the end shall be saved. There's something about finishing well. So I want to encourage especially all the young pastors right here in pastors.nyc to get this book, and all the information is right there. You can look at it, order it today, and we will have the website right there, so you could order it. I learned if I could pay a couple of dollars to learn what somebody took 27 years to do, I think it's all worth it. God bless you. Thank you, Pastor Tim. And we'll have all your information there in case somebody wants to get in touch with you, invite you to preach and share on longevity. God bless you.
Thank you. God bless you, Fernando.